Hello and welcome. We're going old school today. I've got a wee job to do on this Singer here. It's a nice looking example. It's in pretty good condition, but it has a problem where the electrical cable here, well, the plug is actually damaged, so makes it a little bit dangerous. Well, makes it very dangerous actually. So we just get this untangled here. We can have a wee look at what we've got. And we've got a serial number. I'll look that up just so that we can figure out what year this machine was made. So this one is a 99K and serial number starts with EC, so I think it's made in Edinburgh, and it dates from 1939 and they made 50,000 of this model, so you know, reasonably common, I would say. But you know, a very nice machine. This one's actually in reasonable condition. You can see that the artwork here is still in pretty good nick, and we've also got a nice spoked hand wheel here, and the chrome is in just perfect, absolutely perfect condition. It's quite a nice example. Now the problem with this machine here is that there is exposed terminals in here, electrical terminals. So I've got the machine unplugged, so it's safe there, but just to show you a close-up there, you can see the electrical terminals in here. And although it's probably quite hard to get your finger in there, I don't think your finger would fit in there. I guess if you put it close enough, you know, it could arc across, or you know, if a child maybe poked something in there, it could be quite dangerous. So if we have a look at the plug, just unplug that there. The plastic's broken away here. Well, probably more like Bakelite actually, broken away here. So yeah, quite dangerous, needs to be replaced. So I've got some spare parts, so I'll show you how to get this apart. So you know, I can't stress this enough really. If you don't feel comfortable doing this sort of thing, don't attempt it. Leave it for your electrical repair person or sewing machine repair person. Make sure that you, if you are going to do this, that you have the machine unplugged. Obviously you don't want the machine plugged in while you're doing this, because you've got live cabling under here. So the trick to this is getting these two rings off. You've got one ring here and that clamps, this is in two pieces, and it's held together by these two screws that go right through to these nuts under here, and you can see the two halves with the join here, and that is also clamped on these edges here with these rings, one ring either side. So the first thing to do is get those rings off and undo these two screws here. I've got a spare, so this is going to be the parts that I'm going to use. That's a good spare there. And so you know, there's no actual wiring involved in this, it's really just a matter of replacing these caps here. So let's start by taking the broken one apart there. So the easiest way I find to get these off here is just to push them, basically push the ring off the edge there. But you do have to be quite careful because you know, this Bakelite is quite fragile. I find the easiest way is to just get a pair of long nose pliers like that, and I just use this surface here. It's quite strong in this area here. This plug is quite strong down in here, so I just use that to just lever against, and it's, you know, there's not a lot of force involved. I just gently ping it off like that, and there's the ring off there. Just hop around and do the other side here. Just gently lever that out there, just like that there. 2 rings. So when we take these screws out and separate these 2 halves, we just want to be careful not to upset any of the the wiring. And in fact, it might be quite a good idea to have the other part ready just to put on here quickly, so that we've got a minimal chance of upsetting any of the wiring there. So this is the donor plug. Flip those off. Get a screwdriver and just undo that, being careful not to lose your little nut that comes off the back there. Get you in a little bit closer there, just like that, and there we have a good top shell there. Okay, this is the broken part. Just undo this here. We made them quite easy to get into. They made things very serviceable back in the day, unlike these days where this would all be a sealed unit or glued together. Now what I'm hoping is I can just pull that off and go ahead and put the other one on, but just looking at the insulation here, this is sort of a rubbery type insulation and it can break down, so I will check that first before I go too far here. Looks okay, so should be able to just put the new part straight on here, and that job's going to be as easy as that, really. So I mean, if you've got access to any spare parts, it's actually a pretty straightforward job. Just get those screws tightened up there. Screw that up, and so apart from putting these rings back on, we're done. Now this is often the hardest part, actually, is getting these rings on. They can be quite tight. Now this seems to work. I've got the split in the ring here. I'll get you a close look here. I've got the split in the ring here, just by my finger. I'm holding the top end of the ring over the ridge up here, and then I get my screwdriver, just a small screwdriver, in here, and just gently lever that on. But you've got to be quite careful because these shells are quite brittle. You can just lever them, just carefully lever them on like that, and just check right around that it's on there. So that's looking pretty good. Let's get the other one, if I can find the ring. Yeah, that one feels quite tight. There we go. I've got it partially on there. It's not quite. You can see it's not quite on. So just need to give it a little helping hand over the ridge there, just like that. So you may have noticed that this section here of the actual socket is missing. A little piece of Bakelite broken out there. But that doesn't really matter because the actual plug itself, there's the terminal there that was showing before, and this little hole here. And you can see if we take the original there, this section here was broken away, this section here, and that was exposing this terminal. Now this being broken here doesn't really matter, because once this is plugged in, that terminal's actually covered, you know, so there's no chance of any, you know, danger of touching this terminal. I don't see that as a major problem. If you were worried about that there, you know, maybe if this area could be filled in, just get someone to, you know, square this hole off here and make a little piece of plastic to fit in there, or, you know, you could even 3D print something. Yeah, there's several ways that you could deal with that, but I don't think that's unsafe. I think that's all good there. So if you've got one of these yourself and you want to fix up one of those plugs and you've got access to some spares, well, there's how you do it. And yeah, I hope you found that helpful, and thank you very much for watching.